Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in. Today, we're going to be looking at Bitcoin and its monstrous move for the Monday. It is up 12%, went up as high as almost 14%, I believe. And we're currently hovering at $43,000, making a new all-time high. Now, this is quite impressive for the asset. We were talking about how this might start moving sideways. We see liquidity being moved into altcoins. However, uh, at the turn of the weekend on Saturday, uh, Bitcoin stayed strong. It went up, like 2.5%, but at the same time, altcoins started to bleed heavily. So at the beginning of the weekend, it wasn't too much of a concern, but now we're seeing the Bitcoin dominance go up to 63%. Yesterday, it was at 61, 62%. It has jumped a full 1.4 in change in percentage points. So that is a lot of liquidity lost into altcoins, and we can see that here. Ethereum's down 6%, Chainlink is down 10, Uniswap is down 8, Basic Attention Tokens down 10, Celsius is down 6, and so on and so forth. So we see that liquidity is moving back into Bitcoin. So, bringing it back to the largest asset in the space, well, what does this mean? Well, when we look at the weekly, um, it really doesn't seem that far long ago. And it was only the beginning of January where we were at these levels, but here we are now, past those levels, four and a bit weeks later. So, with that said, kind of unsuspected move from Bitcoin. I honestly thought that we would trend lower or start moving sideways, letting the 20-week catch up. With that said, the 20-week moving average is rising now, and the price is rising over it, outpacing it. So we're at 84% above the 20-week moving average, still quite high, but and not as low as I thought we would come. I honestly thought at some point we will be touching the 20-week. So with that said, I'm not going to say that this was a blind side. I mean, we always try to weigh all possibilities, and we discussed it briefly that if Bitcoin did move to the upside, there is a good chance that alts will bleed, but the U.S. dollar valuations will be okay, and you can kind of see that right now, where Ethereum's up 6%, but that's only because Ethereum against Bitcoin is down 5%. 11.87 minus 5.16, and you get 6.18. So the Bitcoin valuations are bleeding. The US dollar values are either trending higher or staying the same. But this is kind of not what we were expecting because of where we thought we were in the cycle. We thought that we were in the altcoin cycle, and there is still good contention that we are. And I'm probably going to make a video on exploring why that might be the case. But with Bitcoin right now, it being above its prior all-time high, albeit it was 4 weeks ago, um, I would say that the attention is now on Bitcoin. Because when Bitcoin I feel like when Bitcoin goes up more than 10%, focus shifts on Bitcoin. No one wants to miss the run. Because when they think of a run, they're thinking of this move here where we essentially tripled or quadrupled, I guess, if we're going from 10,000 to 40,000, to quadruple in price. No one wants to miss that, especially if it's coming from Bitcoin. So everyone focuses their attention back into Bitcoin. Uh, they move their liquidity from altcoins into Bitcoin and hope for the best. And that could be happening here, especially when we're breaking all-time highs. We're printing new highs, and with that said, it's going to be very difficult to determine where the top is going to be, where we're going to slow down, because when we're in price discovery mode, it goes back to the idea of throwing TA at the window, especially when it's in price discovery. It's why I don't really anticipate, with the Uniswap, for example, of a top. There's discussion of it going to $50, and that's could be on the table, definitely on the table, but I'm not going to give any price targets because in the situation we're in no man's land essentially, and in Bitcoin, we're also in no man's land, just poking our heads above it again, just like we were when we were poking our heads out above $20,000. Bitcoin is in the same situation. Will it happen again like we did when we popped over 20,000? Hard to say. Uh, all I know for sure of it takes more money to bring the price up now than it did when it was back at 20,000, when it was, and before that when it was at 10,000. Uh, so it takes exponentially more capital to bring the price up. So the harder we push this snowball up the hill, the bigger the snowball gets, but the heavier it is, and it gets more and more difficult. That isn't. I don't want it to be a bearish case, but I just want it to be a realistic case. And I think this is a good um, pivot point when we're talking about altcoins. Is to We don't know how long this season's going to be of alt season. I anticipated it to happen for a little while longer, and this I don't think is a catalyst defining point for altcoins. I would mostly argue that maybe it's uh, the season is paused for a bit. But I think this is a good pivot point to recommend. Like if you are in altcoins and if you were like we were trending up for an entire month and a half, um, if you think if you are up significantly, maybe it's time to take some profits. Maybe not now, but in the future, when you are up significantly, take those profits, sell it back to stable coins or Bitcoin or whatever other coin you're valuing. But it's important to de-risk your positions, and that's exactly what happened to me over the weekend. I put a trailing stop, so I didn't mean for it to to get triggered, but if it did get triggered, then I was happy at the price that I it got triggered at. Essentially, um, that's what happened with Ethereum, and half of the trade went to Bitcoin, and the other half went to stablecoin. So I essentially de-risked my position, and I was able to buy in before the 12% run. Um, I did not know this. I'm not going to say that I knew it. Um, but I think it's times like these where I'm like, okay, good thing I took profits with Ethereum, because Ethereum's now down 6%. I'm not saying that I'm down on my position now. I'm still well above, but I think when you're talking about valuations at this level with Ethereum, how much of a good run it's had, why waste it by just watching it disappear? I want to take advantage of it. With that said, keep an eye on what Bitcoin does. Um, it seems like for now in the short term, all eyes are on Bitcoin. The show is Bitcoin, and the second act is altcoins for the time being. Um, we have to see this slow down. And I've been saying that for months, but and every time I say it, I feel like it's never going to happen. Um, but we'll see. One interesting caveat I think is interesting is um, when we're looking at sideways movements and seeing what Bitcoin's doing now. I can't help but think about the times like during the spring and summer where we saw Bitcoin get to like $10,000, come back down, make a higher high at $10,500, come back down, and continue moving sideways. That's a possibility too. And I don't know how well this bar pattern will look because I never really overlaid it yet. But you see the kind of similarities. We see the first move up, rejection. The second move up is higher than the first, and then we came back down and started moving sideways. I mean, that's a possibility too. I'm not going to say that it's definitive. It was just something that's happened before, and I wanted to bring it to your attention that there were times where we moved up to touch a high. So in this case, 42. We came back down and came back up and made a higher high, but ultimately we came back down and kept on moving sideways. Again, that's a possibility too. And in that time um, of this happening, we saw altcoins also skyrocket. We saw Ethereum skyrocket at this time. I can bring it up right now. So in this time frame, Ethereum bled, then bottomed in May, and then it moved up. It moved up quite significantly when we look at it. It went up 25% against Bitcoin during this time period, and um, and yeah, I mean, I didn't know what else I was going to say, but um, just wanted to show that, bring it to your attention because I thought it was interesting, and it'd be an interesting way it plays out, considering that it's already done so in the past. But for now, keep an eye on what Bitcoin does. Uh, any large movements with Bitcoin, and this again happening this week, is probably not a good thing for altcoins, for better or for worse, especially with their Bitcoin valuations. Anyway, that's all for today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye bye.